So where'd you get this?
My daughter had it made for me for Mother's Day. Of me and my son. Yeah, this is the last picture we took together. James was a very energetic young man. From the time he was born, he was always quick. He came out quick. And he was a very friendly young man. He didn't have a belligerent bone in his body. He was really a lot like me and my oldest daughter. You know, we never say, well, we can't do it. We'll give it all we got, and if it fails, then we can say at least we tried. He joined to pay for college. You know, that was a way of him paying for his education. I anointed him and prayed over him before he left, and he hugged and kissed me, and he said, Mom, I'm going to fight for my country. And then he looked at his older sister, Trina, and he said, if I don't come back, at least I fought for my country. And I was tore up. I was tore up for the simple reason he started to cry.
He was scared.
He was scared. He called me up. He said, Mom, did you hear? I said, what, son? He said, the war is over. It only took 3 weeks. It's over, Mom. It's over. We kicked butt. We kicked butt. And he was so happy. And then they send him, you know, after that, he was preparing to come home. This is him training the Iraqi police in 2003. He was so excited about that. And this was taken at the church when he first came home from Iraq. We went to church that Sunday morning, and he thanked everybody because they, you know, sent them phone cards and food packages. Like the second day being home with me, I started noticing he could not keep still. He could not sit down. Like one night I just got up and the Lord just told me to come downstairs. And when I came downstairs, he was just standing up in a corner. And I said, son, what are you doing? Because I noticed that he was very jittery. The second tour, he hated it. He was upset because he was beginning to see his friends blowed up. Even friends committed suicide while they were there. He would call and he would say, Mom, he said, we don't need to be over here. He said, this is ridiculous. And he wrote me a letter saying what a beautiful mother I was and how I taught him right from wrong and how I was a cool mom. And I started crying because the letter sounded like a goodbye letter. He was always at the casino. You know, he would go to report to Camp Pendleton during the day, and at night he would gamble all night long. And I asked him, I said, why are you gambling, son? He said, I can't sleep. I said, why you can't sleep? He said, the nightmares are too severe. He said, Mom, I killed 212 people, and some of them didn't deserve to die. He said, but because I feared for my life, I had to do what I had to do. He said, and I can't live with myself. It was 2 days before he died. He called me up. He says, Mom, you love me? I said, you know I do with all my heart and soul. I said, you love me? He said, yes, with all my heart and soul. He said, the Marines are going to get in touch with you. I said, get in touch with me for what? What are you trying to do? He said, I'm still going to kill myself. And I didn't want to hear it. And I said, son, why are you doing this? He said, because the Marines taught us when your back is against the wall, you take your own life.
Did you have to tell them to take him off life support?
Well, they told me I would have 3 hours with him when I got to the hospital, but they were so kind. They gave me 7 hours. And then the nurse came in. She said, Miss Fleming, we need to get his organs before his heart stops. She said, now we getting ready to take him off. Do you want to stay and watch it? I said, no. And when I turned around, the nurses were crying. They were crying. They say they see this all the time. And I looked at my baby and I laid in his chest. And I held his arm around me. I kissed him. I stood in the door. I just kept looking at him. I went back to the bed. I whispered in his ear, even though I know he couldn't hear me. And I said goodbye. And I went to the hotel. And I laid down because I was so sick. There were days after he died, I wished that I could just dig him up. I know it may sound crazy to some people, but if they could have brought his casket here and just set it inside that wall, I would have let it stay. Because to not see your child for 2 years, and when you do see them, they're dead, that's devastating.